Today is the 25th. We're going to do angles. Now, the homework. Show you about the homework. We will be in our notebooks quite a bit today. Your homework is the odds, front and back. Odds from the front and the back. And the two graphs. What does that mean? So you're going to do the odds. And then there's going to be two graphs that I want you to do, even if they're not odd numbers. So odd numbers on the front, odd numbers on the back. You see these two graphs? I want you to do them. Okay? Thank you for looking up and realizing what I'm talking about. Appreciate that. So you're going to find the unit rate given the table. So it's just like your quiz that you guys took last week or yesterday. Remember this graph? You had to find the unit rate. And it wasn't 36. So just like that, you're going to find the unit rate. So do odds front and back, and then the two tables, because you got to practice reading from a table. Okay, angles. Does anybody know what I use to draw angles? What tool do I need to draw angles? Yes?
A ruler.
Not a ruler. What do I need? What is that thing called?
I don't know.
A protractor. What? Good job. So, we will be using a protractor.
I know you did.
Okay? Now, these are tools. They're not toys, so I don't want to see you playing with them. If we do, we have to take it away. And then, how can you measure angles if you don't have a protractor?
I'm good with your brain.
You can't. We're on this small rock.
I'm not gonna see you. Looks like a protractor to me.
All right. I don't want to see you playing with them. Okay. So, here it is.
I have a question. 180s from this side all the way to this side, right? But 360s, a full circle, right?
Good. Okay. Here we go. I'm going to zoom it in. And I'm going to freeze it. Okay. Now, first thing. So your protractor is in your hand. Which way is facing up?
This way. No, this way.
Here's how you can tell which way it's facing up. You have to read the words school smart. So look at it. Can you read the word school smart facing up?
Yeah.
Okay, because I've had kids like it's upside down and they get the measurements wrong. So make sure key is that you see school smart. You can read it. All right.
What is your number?
Flip it.
Right, but so you check. Is it facing the right way?
Yeah.
School smart. Okay, second thing I want you to look at. Find the number 2 at the bottom.
Yep.
See the number 2? It's super important what I'm going to tell you right now. I call this the upside down T. Do you guys see right here? Let me highlight it.
TM. Oh, no.
Right here, it looks like upside down T right here.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
You see it?
Yeah.
Okay. That's a very important spot. So I want you to look at your protractor, find the number 2 at the bottom, and find the upside down T. Does everybody find the upside down T? Because a lot of times I'm going to be like, okay, put the dot on the T. What do I mean by that? When you have a dot on your paper, it needs to be on the T right there. It's very important that you recognize where that upside down T that Miss O'Malley is referring to on your protractor. And on our protractor that we're going to use in class, it's above the number 2. Okay? So everybody see the T? Because literally I'm going to say put the dot on the T like 1,000 times this whole week. All right, everybody recognize that? Okay. What do you notice about the numbers?
The numbers. They're all by 10.
They're all by 10s. Very good. Gio?
It only goes to 170.
Only goes to 170. Okay, yes?
And there's on one side, the bottom numbers are like 100, 110, and then the top numbers are like 80 and 70, and it's different on the other side.
Okay. How many 70s do you see?
2.
Yeah. How many 70s do you see? I see a 70 over here and a 70 over here. Do you see how there's two sets of numbers? The numbers repeat. It's 1 through
170.
170. Technically, it's 180, but I see where you say 170. Okay, so there's two sets of numbers. It depends. Sometimes we're going to use the numbers that are outside, and sometimes we're going to use the numbers that are inside. What do I mean by that? Well, okay. See this line right there by the 4?
Yeah.
That's the 0 line. That's the 0 line. Okay? Now, everybody start counting by 10. Ready, set, go.
10, 20, 30, 40.
Perfect. Thank you. What's the first thing you guys said?
10.
10. And then you said 20, right? So we're counting by 10. So if I start here at 0, this is 0. Is it natural for me to say 170, 160? Guys, you need to pay attention. Okay? Is it natural for me to say 170, 160, 150 if I'm counting by 10s? No. What's the first number you guys told me? 10. And then?
20.
So if this is 0, I'm going to go and use what I call the
And something, I forgot.
inside numbers. What are my inside numbers? These numbers right here.
And outside is the outside.
And these are my inside numbers over here too. These are all my inside numbers. Because, when I count, I'm counting 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, 130, 140, 150, 160. Counting all the inside numbers. If I'm starting over here with 0. What if I start over here where my finger is, and this is 0? Now where is 10, 20, 30, 40?
The top.
On the top. I call these the
Outside.
outside numbers. Wow. This is great technology. Look at that. Outside numbers. Why? Because I'm going to start, if I start over here with 0, then I go 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, and 10, 20, 30, 40, 150, 160. These in blue are called my outside numbers. Will you be using both today? Yes. Sometimes we will use the inside numbers and sometimes you will use the outside numbers. And how do I tell which ones? Well, it depends. Is 0 on this side or is 0 on this side? 0's on both sides. So it depends on where your line is. Is it pointing on this side? Or if it's pointing on this side is where you start. I will guide you through it. We got to pay attention. It's the little details that if you miss, because you're looking at other people, it's going to make this so much harder for you. Sucks. All right, here we go. Ready? Everybody, don't go right on the top. Kind of give yourself some room. So I have my title on the top. Have some, like a little space right here. Right in the middle of my paper, I'm going to put a dot. I'm going to put a dot in the middle of my paper. Okay. Then I'm going to draw a line going to the right. So a dot, and then a line, pretty long line. I would say like the size of all my 4 fingers. Dot and a line. Use the protractor as a ruler. All right, now put the dot on the T or the T on the dot. There's the dot. Where's the T that I showed you? Above the number 2. Very important, Juliana. Put your dot on the T. Juliana, like this. Not like this. Okay, there's a mistake on mine. Who can tell me what mistake I did?
The line is not perfect.
Gio?
It's not straight.
What tells you it's not straight?
Just you can tell the T is a little crooked.
Okay, what else?
It's
It's tilted. Very good. You see my blue line? Where should my blue line be over here? Should be right on top of the 4, this line. If it's off by a little bit, your answers are going to be off by a little bit. So, is my dot on the T? Yeah, it is. But you see how this blue line does not match here the 0? So I have to align it just a little bit better. Every little thing counts. So right here, this blue line should be right on top of the 4. You see how now my blue line's right on top of that line? Perfect. Is your dot on the T? Yes? Perfect. So all these little things,
What if it's not?
then you'll have a wrong answer. Tiffany, stop. Should your protractor be in your hand? No, it should be on your paper, right? Lined up, ready for me to tell you a measurement. So if your protractor's in your hand, there's something wrong. Or not on your paper. What's wrong? All right. I want you to measure out 60 degrees. 60 degrees. So what do? This is 0, right? So am I going to use the inside numbers or the outside numbers?
Inside.
Inside, because if this is 0, I'm going to start with 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Now what do?
Write it down.
Okay, on 60, right there, I'm going to put a little mark on 60 where it's 60 degrees. So again, I'm going to use the inside numbers, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Put a little mark on 60. Put a little mark on 60. Move my protractor. Now use my protractor as a ruler. You see how I have that little mark? What does that mark mean? That was where the 60 was. That little mark is where the 60 was. I'm going to use this as my ruler. Draw a line. And we've just created a 60-degree angle. Does anybody know what you call a 60-degree angle?
Q.
Very
And
good.
a Q, and then
Right angle and then a Q.
Good. Tomorrow we'll learn that. Jay will teach. Are we okay? Mr. Gonzalez? No, he said he couldn't be available this week. I'm like, oh, today's a day. Are we okay? 60 degrees? Okay. Put another dot, kind of move down like 4 fingers so you give it enough space for the protractor. Put another dot. But this time, your line, I want it to go on the left side. Okay, now that I have my dot and my line, what do I do with my protractor?
Put the T on the dot.
Put the T on the dot. Check 1. Your first check is your dot on the T? That's your first check. Your second check is the line lined up to the 0? That's your second check. So your first check is my dot on the T? Check number 2, is your line straight to the 0? Okay? Now that it is, I can give you a measurement. I want you to go to, again, 60 degrees. But this time, am I going on the inside numbers or the outside numbers? Outside. Now we're going on the outside numbers because when I count, if this is 0, I'm not going to go 0, 170, 160, 150. That doesn't make sense. I'm going to go 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. It makes sense to use the outside numbers. So use the outside numbers to 60. Put a little mark on 60. That's my little mark for 60. Use my protractor. Did we just draw the same angle? Yes. Well, one's open to the right and one's open to the left. But if I were to cut these two things out, they would be the exact same angle. Both of them are acute. Both of them are 60 degrees. Any questions so far?
Miss, I have a question.
Yes.
I've seen like this thing where like it's a triangle. Is that used to measure like the triangles or no?
It could be a combination of measuring different things, actually. Not sure if it has angles on it. Okay. Put a dot, if it fits, towards the bottom, if it fits. Draw it on the right side. Draw me 130 degrees. Use it as a ruler. It matters. Draw long lines. It matters. Let's see what you guys can come up with 130. Shade's been great walking around and seeing the 130s as a cute. 130. Where? Yeah, that's what you have to determine. I'm giving you a little bit of a challenge with 130. And Miss J, Miss Vanessa, and I, as we walk around, we can tell if your 130 is a 130 or if it's no bueno. Good. So show us 130. And we can tell you if it's right or wrong just by walking around. Where is 130? And we can tell by looking around if it's right or if it's wrong. Just by walking around. That's it. Okay, 130. Here's how I know if you're right or wrong. If your angle is like small, like anywhere here, it's wrong. If your angle is open wide, like over here, like my two hands like this, I know you're right. So if your angle looks like this, like my arms right now, you're on the right track. If your angle is like this, you use the wrong numbers. So, let's do it together. Dot on the T, the 0, right? Where your line is 0. So then you go, am I going to count with 170, 160, the outside numbers? No, I'm going to use the inside numbers. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 120, 130. So I know that my dot is going to be all the way over here. Just like that. Open wide is 130. Should be an open wide shape. If you did a closed one, you actually did a 50-degree angle. If you did a small one, you actually did 50 because you're using the wrong set of numbers. Yes?
Is that an obtuse?
It's an obtuse. Very good. Tomorrow we're going to review acute, obtuse. What's the other one? Right?
And everything over 90 is a obtuse.
Not everything.
Not everything, except 80 degrees and
No.
no.
Well,
180 and
yes.
360.
Okay. You're on the right track. Okay, let's try another one. That's a big one. Dot in the middle. Stop, Mel. Right side again. 150. 150. 150. So is it going to be wide or small? Big, wide. 150, you should open up wide. You should open up wide. Should be a wide opening. Are you going to use the inside numbers or the outside numbers?
150?
Inside. Maybe you should have it on the chair. You should have it like back so we can hear it. So again, we can walk around and check without even using a protractor to see if you're on the right track or if it's like, uh-oh, you used the wrong numbers. So then, where's your 150? Okay. Open wide. Okay. Next one. Oscar, can you now draw it to the left? Dot into the left. Dot into the left. Dot into the left. And draw 120 degrees. Let's go. Open the other direction. Are you using inside or outside numbers for this one? Outside. So 120 on the top, outside numbers. Connect. $120. So if we walk around and we see something like this, open wide, we know you're on the right track. If your angle's like super small, you're using the wrong set, Oscar. All right. One last thing I have to show you. Okay, one last thing. Do you guys see the little tiny dots in between the numbers? Little tiny lines? What do you think those little tiny little lines mean? Yes, all of these are ones.
The middle one is like, so it's 55 or like 51, 52.
Yes, so this would be like 51, 52, 53, 54. Now, do you guys see this like little longer line in between?
That's 5.
Those are your fives. So you guys see how they're a little bit longer than the other ones?
Yeah.
Those are your fives. So those are your fives. So you can count by fives as well. So let's pretend we're using the top numbers. Let's pretend we're using the top numbers. What would this number be? Using the top numbers.
That's 60.
That would be 65. Top numbers.
85.
Top numbers.
51.
51. 51.
Oh. 54.
Top numbers.
Oh, 134. 134.
135.
It's on the line.
134.
Yeah, 135.
134. Okay, 134, 134. Okay. Okay, worksheet. We're all going to be on the front side. On the front side, on the front side, front side.
So no back
No, we're gonna start on the front side. We're gonna start on the front side. Front side. Okay. 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 Does everybody see the number 5 on the top of their paper? Number 5 on the top. On the top. Am I frozen? That's how you have to start on this side. The 5. The 5. The 5. The 5. Okay. You see this? The little corner right there? That's where your T goes. This little corner right there, that's where your T goes. So put the T there. Line up the 0 by the 4. That's how it should be. Tadeo, Oscar. Okay, Tadeo, if you're playing with it, it gets taken away. How can you do this worksheet? Did he say easy?
Yeah.
Okay, what is the measurement of the first one?
3,
Are we using inside numbers or outside numbers?
45.
oh, it was 100.
So this is 0. Right? This line is at 0. So do I count 110, 120, 130, or 170, 160, 150? 10, 20, 30, 40. Do I pass the 50?
No, it's at 45.
It's at 45. Now, if it's hard for you to tell, you can take this and make it longer. On the back side, we're going to ask you to make these lines longer. It's the only way to actually measure correctly. So I made it longer, so now I can actually clearly tell that my measurement is 45. Not 55.
Wait, so that's our angle?
Not 55. Not 55. Yeah, your angle measures 45.
I'm on the,
You have to have like the little O.
Are you starting?
55?
No, it's 45.
Look, 10, 20, 30, 40.
Oh, 45. I drew an 8.
37. That's the right answer. 2.
Okay, on the front side. On the front side, which is this side, all your answers should end in 5 or 0s. The back side, those are all the crazy numbers, like 38, 127. But on this side, it should all end in 5 or in 0s.
Well, what did you say the measurement was? No, the line is given for you. You're finding what the line is. Where are you?
Oh, the second arrow is crooked.
This is your zero. This is your zero. Are you looking at the inside or the outside?
62.
Gio, this is your line. You're not drawing
63.
lines anymore. Question 3.
Oh,
This is your line. Your line is drawn, right? 62? The word is line points. What number?
yeah.
Not 50.
No, isn't number 3 62? Well, let me explain it again.
If it goes that way, yes, not without 45.
No,
Number 3 is 120.
So it'd be 120.
number 3 is Do you guys want number 3? 120.
Start number 2. Okay.
No, but it's a little off
Alright.
though.
Or do we start
A
with this
little.
one, or do we start with this
Yeah,
one?
but a little can be.
Why did you want 120 by 10?
It's good to extend the line.
No, it's one.
But that would be 135.
Oh, I see what.
Is it possible to get like
That's 99 degrees because of the square.
is it so easy?
Miss, if it's a square, it means 99, right?
Square 90. Square is 90 degrees.
I know. I'm just making sure.
Not 99.
It's a square of 90.
So is it possible to end like 5?
They all end in 5 or 0.
I think I got it.